Skip Jeffries back in the garage for some more punishment here, back on this T-car here. Hopefully this will be the final tear down on this thing. I've got to actually try to tear apart as much as I can to kind of glue back broken pieces and also kind of reinforce the joints here. We'll see if we can get this thing knocked out of here. Okay, kind of a weird design. See if we can get this side. My goal is to not cause any more damage than what's already been done to this thing, so hopefully we can get this thing knocked apart here enough to get her apart. Hopefully there's no hidden nails in this thing. And it seems like that's very odd. Yeah, my first victim here is this side piece here. We've got to reconnect. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this all original on this bottom piece here. Not only for cost wise, but also for keeping it somewhat more vintage. We'll go ahead and see if we can knock off some of the crusted glue on this thing without tearing up the finish too bad. I mean, whatever glue they used, it's almost like a gray and powdery type finish on it. I don't know if you guys can see from the video here. Yeah, it's very, very weird. And then we still got chunks of laminate on some of these pieces here, so kind of bear with me as we scrape and grind on this thing. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep these videos somewhat short on these things because, one, editing these dang things has gotten pretty rough. Because I may only do like 10 minutes of shoot or 10 minutes of work, and that's probably a good another 30 minutes to go ahead and actually edit all these videos. Try not to break pieces as we go here. And we'll try to knock off what we can on here. Like I said, this old glue that's on here is pretty thick and gray and crusty. Try not to cause any more damage here, but it is what it is sometimes. I know, I'm trying to come up with a plan of attack to keep this thing together and actually be able to figure out where all these pieces go is going to be, I don't say too difficult, but we may just do it in sections here. Maybe these bottom portion, we'll see how loose. Yeah, they all seem to be pretty loose. But I noticed on this top one here, we've got a screw here, screw here. Looks like a screw and a nail on this back side here. And then we've got all these connections up here on this lip. I don't know if you guys can see that from the video here, trying not to knock the camera over. But these type of weird connections, so I know that's gonna kind of wreak a little havoc on trying to get this thing apart. And I thought it'd be easier to glue with this thing off, but it may be the exact opposite. I'll have to get a couple clamps. Let's see if we can knock off this other side here in a somewhat rugged fashion. I hope I can get this thing back together. Relatively easier than I thought it would. And the same here, we've got some remnants that we can take off. And whoever glued the laminate down on this thing did a really good job. It's in there. Looks like these side bottom pieces, so we may have to actually just kind of hit it with the sander. Knock off these bigger chunks of glue. But we'll do what we can. I mean, like I said, we're not going to make it look pretty, but I mean, we want it to kind of be functional and go back together. Alright, I think we'll be able to tell the difference on these parts here. Probably going to need that Big Daddy one. Big Daddy screwdriver. Please God, don't let these be 6 inches long. Big Daddy might not fit here. Let's try this one here. Try to keep these in sections. And did go to the store yesterday and kind of look to see if I could find some hardware. And to be able to find era specifics probably not going to happen. I mean, I think I can come close, but we're going to have to settle for having a Phillips head instead of the flat screw head. But I mean, it is what it is. I can't complain. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm not gonna spend high dollar items or waste a lot of time trying to find hardware that may be unobtainium or have to order something in and have it take up to a couple of weeks to come in. And just not the trouble I want to mess with. Okay, that's a pretty thin shot on that. Now we gotta figure out how this side will come apart without tearing everything apart. Tearing it up. Need a bigger table, I think. This one here, I don't know if you can see from the video, but there looks like a screw and a nail, so. And once again, that screw head is covered completely. See if we can get it thick. Clean it out so we can actually get into it. Not tear up our hands or fingers in the process. It's almost like they put a putty in there of some sort. Maybe it's just dirt and grime over the years. But I noticed a couple of these screw heads are that way. Had to actually clean them out. And hopefully these things will come apart on this side as easy as that other side did. And hopefully they're all similar hardware. A little bit smaller. And that looks like it may have been a repair at one time. Side pieces up. Now hopefully these cameras will actually get a pretty good angle on what we're doing. I know I've tried to do what I can. I'm no professional cameraman, so I mean, please forgive me. I'm doing the best I can with the resources I have, so it is what it is. Hopefully all this hardware is about the same size. Of course not. That one should theoretically come apart. That may be difficult. This one here has got 3 screws going into it. Of course, they're probably going to all be different sizes. I think this one's the one that was kind of loose, if I remember right. Hopefully there's no hidden nails. Another screw head that's got junk in it. It's not in there tight. I have a feeling this one's probably going to have different size screws. That one was not in there, so we're going to have to probably do some magic. It comes back together. Maybe that's why they had 3 screws into it. That's what I'm guessing. So that looks like it is loose. Give her a couple taps with the hammer and see if she'll come loose. Maybe go up. There we go. That's the ticket. Okay. And what I'm doing now is just kind of checking to see if there's an actual screw head somewhere in this unit here. That looks like it was just nailed in a side brace into this thing. That came off. Let's see if we can bust some of this old. I'm not seeing any nail heads going into this. There we go. Ooh. And we damaged it. Alright, there's got to be a nail or something on this thing. In this thing, maybe a screw head. I didn't see anything on the table itself. I think that just went in there. Like so. Probably should have taken pictures. Looks like there's a little bit of termite damage in there, and there are some top screws holding this side onto it. So let's go ahead and see if we can get these screws out. And that sucks that didn't come apart. So we'll just end up having to probably glue that into place, no biggie. My goal was not to cause any more damage than what was needed. Be dealing with this old wood, so I mean it's pretty dry. So it happens. Oh. So I think the ticket here is probably to kind of reverse order this and then put it back together. And hopefully I can remember how it goes back together. Like I said, I mean, we're only out, I think I spent maybe $1.65 on the screws, and I think that big screwdriver was maybe $3, so you're talking what, less than $4 investment so far. Now, these screws just don't come loose here. Theoretically, that should be free. There we go. And as suspected, there are some nails that actually stick into that. So, watch for slivers. So, now the next big thing is to kind of keep things together and not lose them. And try to remember how all this stuff goes back together. And that may be the hard part. Get these screws out. And I guess the other key too is having the video document. So I mean, if you do have to figure out how things go back together, I guess we can always watch our own videos. It's kind of all the. I noticed on these things, this cart too here, all the screw connections. I guess what they call it, almost like pocket screws that they've got going on in there. I don't know if you can see from the video, but right in here. So I mean, this wood is pretty old and crusty. So I'll probably put some glasses on here. See if we can scrape some of this old glue off this end piece here. And like I said, it's got that old gray glue on it too, so. And we got one more area here with some screws. The center bar here, I guess, is where the axles to the wheels go. I'm trying to keep those parts separate here. And this one has two missing screws on this end, and then on this side here it's got kind of a mismatch, and that's the reason why I kind of went to the store and got something relatively close. Hopefully it'll work. We'll see. I guess we'll only find out. It doesn't look like, and that screw wasn't even holding it in. So we might have to go with something different, or maybe see if we can fill holes maybe with some wood glue and kind of beef it up that way. But I think we've got her totally apart here. I mean, it's total destruction. Not too bad. I'm sad about this one side here, but I think that is fixable to an extent. I think these other pieces should come apart. Yeah, we might leave those together as is. Let's see if we can knock them loose, at least get them so we can pull them off. Get them to where we can pull them off and kind of leave them somewhat together, kind of help us put these bad boys back together is my main goal here. It should be somewhat relatively easy, you would think. There she goes. Alright. And will it go back together is the next key phase here. Yeah. Okay. So and we'll do probably the same with that other side. Golly. There we go. Kind of keep them stacked so we know where things go. Whatever glue they used, it did the trick, I guess. It's holding it together. There we go. Okay. Thinking that one's got the nail in it, but nothing will surprise me. It's just seen some weird pictures that was. Alright, there we have it, folks. Totally disassembled. Today we'll check you out. I'll do another video on it. It's like I said, we're doing summertime here, so I mean it's probably 70s. Maybe high 70s outside, low 80s, but inside the garage here it feels like it's almost 90 degrees in here. But anyways, thanks for watching.